2024 will very likely go down as the year of women's sports. Women's elite sports around the world are projected to generate more than $1 billion in revenue for the very first time.
Yeah, of course, Caitlin Clark played a big role in that. She's Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year. The WNBA also set multiple league records in its most watched season. And it's not just hoops. The National Women's Soccer League game attendance topped 2 million total fans this season, an all-time high. The success on the professional level is paying off in big ways for our state's youngest athletes.
We're excited to welcome on Andrea Yoch from the Minnesota Aurora FC to talk about the growth of women's sports. I mean, what a year when you look at it. I mean, we just read off some of the things, but truly it has to feel right now like the momentum has never been higher than it is.
Well, there was so much this year that actually I forgot how much we did, right? The Big Ten gymnastics, like we sat at Target Center and watched Simone Biles, right? The Frost, the PWHL team, they won the championship. Billie Jean King was here and they hosted Minnesota Aurora in a suite, like during the championship series. There was so much. Gopher women's soccer went really deep into the NCAA playoffs. Like it's just non-stop. And so, yeah, it just here in the Twin Cities, it was huge. And that is a reflection of what happened in the country.
Why do you think it is finally now happening? Obviously, women's sports has been around for a long time. What finally clicked for people?
I think over the last few years, and especially for Aurora, there was finally this awakening that the women have been treated pretty badly. And it really started during COVID when the WNBA athletes were posting pictures using paper plates and plastic cutlery while the men were in their bubble with steak knives and china. And then if you remember those NCAA athletes who showed their weight room, which was basically, you know, that was it, while the men had these huge weight rooms. And so finally it was coming to light, wow, this isn't just a little gap, this is a huge gap. And people wanted to try to start doing something about it. You combine that with the U.S. women's national team, as you said, Caitlin Clark and that group of college basketball players, and people started watching, and then they were like, wow, this is great.
And even for the Lynx, they just got chartered travel this season. Exactly. We had one of the players, and they were flying commercial before. I'm like, how? Like
they're getting harassed in airports. I mean, can you imagine if you did that with the men's teams? They were sitting at the gate like all the rest of us, and
they made it to the championship. Like, I mean, so do you think that? Okay, yeah, people might say, oh, that's luxury. Like that's a luxury being able to fly charter, but like it looks like it made a difference. It helped.
Well, you try being 6'7" and you know sitting in it. My son is 6'2" and he can barely fit in a flight, right? You try being 6'5", 6'7", and sitting on a charter flight and then being expected to perform at the highest level on the court, right? That's crazy.
You know, it's one of those things where you have a huge year and then the first thing you say is, well, what's next year going to be like, right? But truly, when you look at capitalizing off this momentum, what can 2025 look like, especially here in the cities? What are you excited about?
So for Aurora in particular, we're in the middle of selling shares in the team. Again, we're a community-owned soccer team, which means that people can buy shares in the team. So we have a community ownership drive happening right now. So we hope to bring more people on board in 2025. Personally, for us, we are looking for the trophy. Right now, we're the only women's team in town that hasn't won one. The Vixen have won the championship, the Lynx, the Frost. We need one. So those are our goals. But I do have a dream, and I've talked to Carly Knox of the Lynx about this. I would love to have a year where all the women's teams in the Twin Cities won the trophy. How amazing would that be? And it's not unrealistic.
No, we have such good sports here. If folks at home want to support one of our women's teams, what can they do?
I mean, buy a ticket. The Frost have a game tonight. Tickets are super reasonable. Their games are really fun. So buy a ticket, buy the merchandise, follow on social, take some neighbors, take some friends. All of the teams are very affordable. Our seasons don't overlap that much. And you can, if you make it a goal, you're talking about resolutions a lot on the news today, make a goal to go to one of each of our games, and that will make a huge difference. And I guarantee you're going to have so much fun, you're going to want to keep going back.
I've been to a Frost game last season, and I can attest, it is a good time.
Really fun.
And we didn't even talk about it, but the impact that this has on young kids, especially young girls, has to be just astronomical because they can see themselves in these athletes, especially on the pro level.
Right. Well, and it's not even just the athletes. Like for Aurora, we're very much about helping their careers off the field as well. So our entire medical staff is female. We are women-led. Our front office is all female, right? So we want girls at every level to have somewhere to go to get the experience, to get to the higher levels, because without the experience, then it's never going to infiltrate across all the sports. And so it's happening everywhere, right? You see more and more women at the men's teams too. And we all just want it to be equal.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We are really excited. I'm excited personally to see what 2025 ends up looking like.
Keep going like that.
And good luck this season.
All the excitement and hopefully the trophy, like you said, is next up. And you did hear Andrea mention you can become a Minnesota Aurora FC community owner. Investments begin at $100. You can learn more at mnaurora.com. And a reminder, WCCO is the spot for women's sports news from across Minnesota. Every Monday at 5 o'clock, Mariel Mose highlights the accomplishments of female athletes and brings us a roundup of the biggest women in sports headlines. Fridays at 7 o'clock on our free streaming channel, CBS News Minnesota.